Welcome to Emotionally Baked, where baking and emotions are the two most perfect ingredients. Hello, welcome back to Emotionally Baked, where we talk and chat and I tell you stories and just bake with you as we work out our feelings. And thank you for joining me. I am so glad you're here with me. Today we are doing defeated and dump cake. I know it sounds kind of a negative emotion, but this is a lot of the things I have been feeling this week, so that's why I'm doing it, and that's why we're here, is that while we're feeling, we're gonna bake it out. So come on and join me, and I'm gonna show you the ingredients for today. Okay, so this recipe, I'm not gonna link below because literally I learned this one from my mother-in-law. You can make this recipe pretty much, I mean, I've seen this. I bet you anything, if you type in dump cake to any search, you will find this pretty much anywhere. This is just that simple go-to, really, I feel like good, like feel-good dessert. It's warm and it has that little crusty crust on the top. You add a little bit of vanilla ice cream, or a little Cool Whip. It's chef's kiss. It's amazing. And you can make it to however your family likes it, to what they like to, like what their palate is. So it is literally so simple. You take any can of pie filling that you like. Now I chose strawberry pie filling. I have done blueberry, I've done apple, I've done, when it's in season, the different pie fillings. I do have strawberry today. So you choose a pie filling. So pie filling, and then when there is fresh fruit that I like for this recipe, I will do the fresh fruit. And when it's not too bad of a price, I will do the fresh fruit. However, I'm just gonna use some frozen. Frozen is totally fine. It works. You're putting it in the oven, so it's totally fine. This is where you get to decide the fruits that you like. So the fruit that I'm using for the frozen is just like a 3-berry blend. It has raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. I think it pairs well with strawberry, or if I had raspberry pie filling or blueberry, it would go really well. Now I have done this with, when it was summer and the peaches. I have a peach tree. I did not get my peaches from my peach tree because it's still a baby and it's still producing fruit that I can't yet pick. When I've purchased peaches, I've done fresh peaches and a blueberry pie filling. Peaches and blueberry go so well together. I just love it so much. And I've done this, I haven't done it with apple yet. You could do like an apple pie filling with fresh apples too, or apples and blueberry go well together. I don't know if you've tried that. They really do. So yummy. And whatever combination you love, go for it. This is where you get to like spread the love, have your fun, whatever your family loves. So fabulous. Then you just need a boxed yellow cake mix. Whatever you find, whatever you like, the yellow cake mix. Now you're not gonna mix it up and do it. You're literally going to mix the pie filling and the frozen, or if you've done fresh berries together, your fruits together. You're gonna put it in a 9x13, and you're just gonna put the cake mix on top. I'll go more over that in a minute, but that's the main 3 ingredients, and the last one is a stick of butter. That's it, 4 ingredients. Pie filling, fresh or frozen fruit, a cake mix, and a stick of butter. Fabulous. That's it, super easy. So since we have such an easy recipe, I feel like I can kind of mix this up and chat a little bit. I have some Earl Grey tea today. I feel like I need a little tea because it was so gorgeous this week here, and now it's back to being chilly. and I got my son had his first baseball game, and it was so cold. I got chilled, and I've been chilled for a couple of days. So the warm tea is really, it's warming me up all on the insides. So our topic of discussion, feeling defeated. Friends, I have felt defeated this week. Defeated. It has been a doozy of a week. So we started the week out. It's totally fine. Not much happening going on. And Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Monday, it started, I'm filming this on a Friday, so just to give you the time frame. So noticed that the water pressure wasn't very good in the house. We do have a well system. And so I was thinking maybe, something up. And I went around all the house and checked make sure that none of the toilets were running, make sure that no water was running. Sometimes our water faucets get stuck, you don't push it all the way, it could be dripping, and couldn't find anything, didn't understand what was going on. So I called out our local, our plumber that we've had work on this house. And so they sent somebody out, and they checked, and there was a leak in our basement. Now we have a basement that kind of extends the length of our house, and in the very far back is like a cellar. It's cemented in, and it kind of is like the cold spot where my husband's grandmother used to put all of her canning. So she did a whole bunch of canning back in the day and storage of things down there. So this was way in the back of the house, underground, way in the back. And there was a leak coming out of the cinder block wall, which is not good. You do not want a cinder block wall leaking. So they couldn't find where the leak was, because we had turned, and the water guy had turned off the power to the pump, and so we were looking all over, couldn't find it, didn't understand what was happening. So he sent for backup, and looking around, so we turned off all the water. The water actually had literally gone. Like, we had no more available to us. Like, it was just not coming in the house. Even if they turned it off, it was still not coming. So that was that. So we had somebody else come out, and they turned the pump back on to see where they could figure out where the water was coming, or like what was happening. Like, why was the basement leaking? Why was this going on? And lo and behold, they went out into our backyard, and they found water bubbling up from the earth, which meant that there was somewhere underneath was a busted line of the water pumping from the well into the house. To say that I was so, oh my goodness, it just was not what you wanted to hear, that this was what was going on. Oh my. So that left us in a day of figuring out what to do without water for a couple of days, because they weren't sure the timing that they were going to be able to get their machine to dig the dirt, and then to have the stuff that either they needed or didn't need to fix whatever broken pipe. So yeah, let's fast forward. Well, let's not really fast forward, but let's just we're looking at the whole picture now. So they told us, go ahead, and if you need to, we're going to turn the water pump on for a little bit. We're going to fill up the toilet, so at least you have the toilets filled for a little bit. And then we're gonna turn it right off. But you could run like a dishwasher or a load of laundry, but then turn it off. But when we come back, it'll all be off for a while. Okay, so they left. We went into, we turned on the water for a little bit, and something that I was not aware of that was happening in the basement was that there was a pipe that was being drained into a bucket in case any overflow happened with this situation. Well, let's just say the bucket was a little too small. And I went down to turn off the water pump because we had filled up the toilets. I had run down to turn it off, and I was gonna start the dishwasher, but for some reason I was like, you know what? Why don't I just wait? Let's not do that. I went downstairs, and this water bucket that had been so essentially it had run off any extra water. It was running off extra water that was coming in from, or that was not making it. I don't know where it was coming from actually, but the bucket was full and it was overflowing onto our carpeted floor in the basement. Friends, to tell you, I felt like, are you kidding me? The defeat in this situation was it just kept going. Okay, let me pause. Let's get some things mixed up. I'm going to open the can of pie filling. And oh, you know what? Even though I love using my favorite bowl, this can be put right into your baking dish. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to pour, and literally what I do is I just estimate. I'm gonna put more fresh fruit it's gonna be more fresh fruit or frozen fruit than it is gonna be if this can of pie filling, because I'm gonna use the frozen fruit to cover the bottom. So just make sure the whole bottom of your pan is covered. So if you have fresh or frozen, just cover the bottom of your 9x13. Okay, there we go. Just covered it. There we go. And so then what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to see if hope I don't break a nail. Oh, getting this open. These are always so hard to get open. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna scrape all of this all this pie filling. You didn't see that. Into my frozen fruit, and I'm just gonna slightly mix it because it'll all get mixed up anyways as it cooks and bakes. So I think pie filling is so satisfying to like watch come out. It's like jello or jelly, but like, ooh. So see, there's not very much pie filling in a can. That's why you want more of the other. So the reason why we're using pie filling is because it's gonna help solidify the mixture. Because no matter if you use fresh or frozen fruit, and I'm just mixing it, like I'm literally just stirring it up. Oh, sorry friends, I did spray the pan. So if you didn't spray the pan, that's totally my fault for not saying that prior. But I did spray the pan, and I'm just mixing this up in here. So the reason why we use pie filling is because it's going to help all of this to kind of congeal together. Because if you just had a whole bunch of fresh fruit, in my opinion, I don't know if it's true or not, but I do see it when I do like pies and stuff. If you don't have something to kind of bind your fruit together, it's just gonna come out like a sloppy mess. But if you like all fresh fruit and you don't want to use pie filling, I'm sure it's okay because it's all going in the same place. You're just gonna eat it anyway. So if it just comes out as if you're just gonna spoon it out into like bowls or something, I don't see there's a problem with that. I think that would be totally fine. So no problem. So I just think a pie filling helps to make it all stay together. All right, so then you do not see me licking my fingers. I'm not touching anything though. I'm just cleaning off the edge of my pan. But the pie filling is pretty yummy by itself. I'll have to give it that. It is pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sprinkle, or just like the recipe says, dump. I think that's why they call it the dump cake, is because I am literally just gonna dump all of this cake mix on top. And I'll spread it out with my spatula if I feel like, but I'm just gonna cover up the entire, so I don't see any of the fruit, because it will be good and covered. Ooh. Ooh. All right, so let's just spread this out a little bit, just make sure it's covered. Now, so I've seen people do it different ways, or I've seen recipes do different things. Like if after you put the cake mix on, you can cube up your butter and put it on top and then just stick it in the oven until it's golden brown. My oven recommendation is 375 until it's golden brown. But what I was also going to say is I melt my butter, because I'll tell you why. I have done it where I just cube the butter and I put it on top, and it just gets those parts where the cubes are, that nice golden. I find that if I melt the butter and then I spread it and then I kind of mix it in a little bit to everything, that it all gets golden. Does that make sense? So, but you can do it any way you want, any way you like to. So I'm going to do you want to do an experiment with me, friends? So this is going to go into the oven until it's golden. I would guesstimate it takes about like maybe it's like 30 minutes. I'm not sure, actually. We'll time it today. We'll see how long it goes. But I want to try an experiment. Hold up. So this is my experiment. So I'm using a stick of butter. Okay. I'm going to melt this butter in my microwave. And I want to see how much it actually is in the measuring cup. I'm melting it in a measuring cup. So, good. Already step one of the experiment. Because did you know, if a recipe calls, so this is just a tidbit, if you don't know this, because I had to learn this myself. Well, two things, we can do two things. So if a recipe calls for butter in baking, like it's typically you want to use unsalted butter. At least that's what I feel like I remember. I feel like, yes, you typically want to use unsalted butter. The other thing is that you have to really keep close eye on your recipe. If it says a half a cup of butter, that is like cold. So this, if you look at your little wrapper of your butter sticks, it will usually say how much it is. So 1 stick of butter is half a cup. However, if it says a half a cup of butter melted, it's not the same thing, because a half a cup of butter this way is not the same as a half a cup of butter melted. We're gonna test that. You ready? We're gonna test the theory. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I melted the half a cup of butter. Now let me look at this more level. So it's so funny. It's a little bit under a half a cup. So honestly, I mean, yes, they are a little different. It's not like it's crazy. So it's not like a half a cup of butter cold, a half a cup of butter melted is too different. But if you want to be precise in your recipes, that's typically, I'm just pouring this melted butter over top of my cake mix. So this way I feel like I could get more on to all the spaces, and I'm just taking the back of my spoon and I'm literally just gonna spread this as much as I can over top. And just making it so all the spaces hopefully get golden brown. Hopefully. So anyway, so that theory is kind of true, kind of. And you can always use more butter on top if you want. If you like it really, really crusty and crumbly and gooey and fabulous, there you go. And I will put this in the oven as soon as my oven preheats, and then we'll see the golden goodness that it is. And then honestly, so if you did use pie filling, or if you used fresh fruit, or if you used fresh or frozen fruit, still use the pie filling. Or if you didn't use the pie filling, actually that's what I was meaning to say. If you didn't use it, this is just a feel-good dessert. So honestly, if it didn't solidify and it was just this warm, gooey concoction of fruit and cake mix, I think it'd be good to go, and I think it would sedate any feelings of defeat that you have, because I'm hoping that this is what this does for me. So, on to the rest of our water woes. Oh my goodness. These things just come to me, friends. No, but anywho, so let's rewind just a little bit. So when we first had no water and we were kind of at a loss of what to do because it was towards the end of the day, and the water people hadn't figured it out yet, because they figured it out. It happened on a Tuesday. They figured it out on a Wednesday. It got fixed on Thursday. I'll get there. So thank goodness we have family. My husband's parents live super close nearby, and we were able to go over there to take showers and take care of those things, and brush our teeth. And because have you ever tried to brush your teeth with just a little, if you've been camping probably, but a water bottle and a toothbrush, or a little cup of water and toothbrush, you don't really understand how much water you use, I feel like, in a day. I have plants to water, I have pets to give water, we fill water bottles up to go to school, we do dishes, we do laundry, we brush our teeth, we go to the bathroom, we take showers, wash our hair, wash our faces, wash our hands. It was a shock to me to kind of see we use water an awful lot. Like, it is wow. And when you're not with something that is like a huge resource, it is just mind-blowing how much you depend on something like that. So I had, for some reason, back in December, had thought about, like, I just need to have water stored in the house just in case something happens. And I don't know why I thought about it. And it could have been the state of the world at the time. I don't really know. And I saved milk jugs. My family loves their milk. Me, I'm a little bit lactose intolerant, so I can't drink it. But my family will go through about 3 to 4 gallons of milk in under 2 weeks. It's insane, I know. And so I could store a lot of gallons of, if I needed anything extra. So I had gallons saved, and so I would wash them out and fill them up with water. Wash them out, fill them up with water. I had like 8 or 9 gallons of water saved in the back of good water from our well before any of this happened. And so it was good for drinking, good for cooking, good for all the things. And so I had those saved. Plus, we have a hot tub, and we had turned it off in the winter, so the water was, which actually, like, now I'm thinking, well, this is so funny. Hot tub, sorry, this is my brain. This is my ADD brain just went somewhere else. But we had the hot tub off a lot in the winter because it was just like using the electricity. We wanted to heat the house, not the hot tub. But then I was like, the hot tub would be good to have in the winter because it's cold, but yet we don't go out there because it's cold. To get out to walk from our house to the hot tub, it's cold. We did it a couple times and then ended up turning it off because we were like, we're not going to go out there because it's too cold to go out. But then once you're in the hot tub, when it is cold outside, it feels good. Oh, it's confusing. Anyways, so we had a whole hot tub full of water that we could use if we wanted to use that to flush toilets, all the things. So we had some resources of water. So I felt very happy that we were not totally without something to help us for at least a couple, like the day and a half that we were kind of struggling a little bit and everything. So that was really, like I was so thankful, and thankful for our family who was nearby and all the things. But just like one thing after the other, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you know that we had water issues in our roof. We had a new roof replaced on our house a couple of months ago in January, and snow melted, leak roofed, brand new roof leaked, and ruined the drywall in my son's room because the roof connects to, like, he's on the outer side of the house, so the roof connected there, leaked into his room, got his drywall messed up, the ceiling in our dining room messed up, all the things. And yeah, we are still living in disarray from that because it has not all been fixed. The roof has been fixed, but the drywall hasn't been fixed. And then we get a water leak. And so now we are at the point where our water plumber friends came, and they were able to dig up the dirt. See, y'all, I should have called it done and dumb cake this week. I'm just so done. But I guess defeat kind of goes along with feeling done. Like I feel so at my end. It's just too much. Anywho, they were able to dig the hole, and they in the right spot, thank goodness. Didn't hit anything else, didn't hit any other electric lines or anything. Thank goodness. There was some electricity because that needs to go out there to the pump for the well. Didn't hit anything else. Found the pipe had burst, and they were able to splice it and fix it back up. Thank goodness. And we got water by Thursday. But it has been so it's been a week, friends. It has been a week. And just with so many of that, just all the things going on, it just felt like I'm done. I'm defeated. I'm done. I'm gonna cry. I'm actually gonna. So one day when they were working on the well, there was nobody here. My mom has been visiting me for the past couple of weeks, and she actually had a lunch date with a friend. So she took my car. She went out, and my kids were gone, and it was just, I was so overwhelmed. I was so defeated, depleted, and done with this whole mess. I walked into my house, I shut my door, and I screamed. I yelled and I screamed, and I was just, I was so frustrated. If you see the front of my podcast where I'm just like, that was me. I screamed it out, and now I'm baking it out. So on that note, I'm gonna get this in the oven because we need some comfort food, y'all. Okay, friends, it is out of the oven. It did take a little bit longer, so like 40 minutes, but to golden brown. It looks so yummy. Oh, and it's still a little warm. But this is going to soothe that defeat that I felt. A good carb will help a lot. And that good scream I did coming into the house, helped relieve some of the tension that I was feeling and some of the defeat I was feeling. You know, just when things pile up and they become a lot and things are just happening over and over and over again, it just, your body feels so weighed down and defeated, in your mind and everything. And it's just, you need to take a step back. And, you know, I'm so grateful that it wasn't worse than it was, and it was able to be fixed, and we had the means to get it fixed, and that we had family nearby. I don't think we would have been able to. I mean, we have some friends so nearby too, so that's good. And then we could have done that as well. But I'm just so grateful for family and just the opportunity to have had it work out. So don't get discouraged if you feel defeated sometimes. Sometimes stuff happens, sometimes life happens, and maybe we just need to bake it out, right? Here you go. Just remember, whether the salt in our recipe comes from tears or a teaspoon, just remember, we baked it out. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.